Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. I've been trying to sit down and like record this, and I just wanted to let you all know that at this time yesterday, I was planning a video that I kid you not was titled "The Never Ending Wait for Rehydrated."
I feel like a...
And then THQ Nordic decides to give birth. So here is an in-depth analysis on everything.
I got hot sauce in my bag, swag.
Shout out to Sonic882. There's a fan of Metal Duckles that they drew, and Metal Duckles just looks great. You know, I love the drawing style here. It's got a bit of a pudgy feel to it, but still obviously maintain the robot look. And so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Anyway, beautiful humans, I am just in shock. Like, I don't know how to react to everything that's just happened right now. It's completely mind-boggling because, you know, I've been getting messages on Twitter, Discord, YouTube, all the time on people just like crying for more information on this game, and I really felt for you guys, but I was just kind of doing my best to try to like calm the hype down and help people to be a little bit more patient. You know, I was thinking of the pandemic, you know, it probably pushed things back, but then THQ Nordic decided to just say fuck you to the pandemic and release everything like a literal childbirth last night, and I only got like 4 hours of sleep because I was just too excited, and I don't even know how to keep going this video without blabbering about everything I love about everything that's going on. And so, oh my gosh, I just gotta say, like, thank you to THQ Nordic and Purple Lamp Studios, and I think there's another studio that's working on it named Streamline. I think that's the name of them. Thank you to everyone on this game that's like working on it. Just thank you for doing all this. Is insane. But okay, you didn't come here to hear me just like praise the game endlessly. You came here to hear me analyze everything that we've got to see, and boy, there's a lot of stuff. And so I was actually considering splitting this video up into 2 different parts, but I did a quick poll on my YouTube channel and Twitter, and everyone really likes my really long videos. It looks like that was the majority on both sites, and so this is just gonna be a one huge ass stupidly long video about everything that we saw with Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I'm gonna do the first part of just focusing on the trailer specifically, and then I'm gonna go through each screenshot one by one, pointing out things that you may have not noticed. And so I don't know how many bullet points that makes. I like to usually bullet point my videos, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna be like 50 bullet points or something. And so let's just focus on the trailer for now. I have 12 bullet points for the trailer specifically. And so before I get started, by the way, I just wanted to get this out of the way. The game is confirmed to be coming out on June 23rd, so that is a mere 2 months from now. So, whew, I gotta say, that's quite shocking, and I didn't think the game was gonna come out that soon because, you know, we heard like nothing about it for what feels like forever, and any like little bit or crumb that we got, you know, obviously I talked to Def about. And so, yep, June 23rd, that's coming. Like, it's gonna be here before you even know it, and I'm not ready. I thought I was ready, but I'm not ready. But okay, I'm gonna first of all just play the trailer here so y'all can see it. You know, I've probably watched it like a million times, so might as well add a million first time as well. Okay, so number one on my list The very first scene that we see within this trailer is a scene of the final cutscene after the final boss. So y'all can tell immediately that they didn't come here to play. THQ Nordic came here to drop a bombshell. And so there's not too much I wanted to point out here. You can see all the different models and such, and they all look great. Like honestly, I've been getting really used to this art style and actually really enjoy it now, and so have no complaints here. You can see that Patrick is just casually stepping on Plankton over there. I'm just like, oh, my heart cannot take it. It's the nostalgia is real, and I am just so excited. Oh my goodness. And number 2, we got to see more jellyfish fields. So I know people aren't really like excited to see more jellyfish fields after it being the only thing that we've seen for months, but we did get to see different sections of jellyfish fields now. And so one is the jellyfish caverns, and SpongeBob is running through them currently, and as you can see here, it looks gorgeous. Like it looks absolutely gorgeous. One thing that I noticed here that I never noticed before was that the floating tikis, their eyes are glowing now, and I don't think that was something that was done in previous builds if I'm correct, or maybe I just didn't notice it, but it did catch my eye immediately when I was trying to look for things that I'd not seen before. There are also a few different clips of jellyfish fields with Patrick specifically, and so we also got to see a bit of Patrick playing through his section, and I love how fluid Patrick's animations are. It looks absolutely amazing. I did get to see this part of jellyfish fields at PAX East, and it looks even better here, like on 1080p-ish footage and such, and so it looks great. And we also got to see jellyfish caves, and I did note that I thought jellyfish caves looked absolutely gorgeous, and as you can see here, it looks just as gorgeous as I was describing it. You know, it's got this purplish tinge to it. It reminds me of like some of the caves within the Spyro games, and I love it. It looks great. I am in love. And number 3, we also got to see our first look at downtown Bikini Bottom. So I did not get to see this at PAX East, and so I'm completely blown away by how this looks. It looks a lot like the original, but just like how I imagined it. And that's just something about this game in general that I've come to the conclusion. It literally looks like what I thought the game looked like as a kid, but now it like actually looks like that, and it just is amazing. I feel like I'm 6 years old again. Like, it's crazy. And I don't think I played this game when I was 6 years old. I think I was like, oh, how old was I? I think I was like maybe 10 or 11 when I first played it. But yeah, you can see here that downtown Bikini Bottom just looks absolutely gorgeous. I love this urban environment. You also get to see a little bit of SpongeBob in particular, and I am hoping that the SpongeBob controls a little bit better in this game. I mean, I didn't have too much issue with it now after like tons of practice, but it would be nice if they improved the control for the SpongeBob a little bit. We also got to see inside the Sea Needle a little bit. We didn't see too much here, but it looks absolutely amazing from what we've seen so far. And then we also got to see a little bit more down to Bikini Bottom with Sandy. And I gotta say, let me comment quickly on Sandy. Her jump looks a little bit more athletic, if that makes any sense. Like, it looks like she's like fully committed to the somersault now when she's double jumping. You know, in the old game, it's like she's jumping, but it doesn't really seem as like impressive, if that makes any sense. Like, the way that she jumps in this game looks a lot more like flashy, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense or not. I just noticed there's just a different feel to it. And number 4, as you may have seen by now, we also got to see the cruise bubble, and they actually changed something with the cruise bubble. You know, instead of having that first person view, now you actually get to see the cruise bubble in front of you. And I don't think this will really impact the gameplay that much. It definitely is an interesting change. I was not expecting them to do that. I'll have to play the game just to see like how I feel about it ultimately, but as of now, I'm pretty neutral on it. Like, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's just a very interesting change that they made. I don't know if it makes it necessarily easier or harder. Probably easier, to be honest, but I would love to hear your thoughts about that, so go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you like. At number 5, we get to see a small bit of kelp forest here as well, and from what I can tell, kelp forest actually looks very similar to the original game. Like, it keeps like the dark lighting and such, although the contrast definitely is a little better, so it is easier to see things in this level. And I think it also helps that the tikis glow now, and so having the glowing tikis will help to improve that contrast a little bit more as well. I'm interested in seeing how the actual characters look like in comparison, just so we can see how easy it is to see them now or how difficult it might still be. Number 6, we also got to see Goo Lagoon, and I have to say, Goo Lagoon is probably my favorite level that I've seen so far of everything. Like, I just love the way that it looks. It makes me really hate quarantine life and want me to go outside and actually do outdoor things. And so one of the first things we get to see is SpongeBob sliding on the carnival slide, and it looks basically just like the original game, but definitely like rehydrated. And you also get to see like SpongeBob sliding animations, which don't look that different from the original one as well. And so just the memories are coming back. I am just it's so overwhelming. I don't know, it's I probably sound like an annoying idiot right now. I'm so sorry, but you know what, actually no, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for being excited for one of the most exciting projects that I've seen so far in gaming. Like, I'm just gonna put it out there. I love this game. I'm so excited for it, and you can bet your ass I'm gonna play it 24/7 as soon as I get my hands on it. We also got to see more Goo Lagoon with Patrick in particular, and yeah, the sand here, I don't know, I just love the sand texture so much, and it just looks gorgeous. And wow, I love the lighting. I think the lighting is probably my favorite thing. It really makes me think of like, oh, summer is coming. I'm really excited for summer weather to come. Hopefully the quarantine has calmed down a little bit once we get to summer, but I don't know, you never know, honestly. And so wow, it's great. You know, I can't wait to see more Goo Lagoon. Like, I'm really liking what I've seen of it so far. There's also some screenshots of Goo Lagoon that I'll talk about a little bit later that I found to be really impressive. At number 7, we got to see some of the Dutchman's Graveyard, and I was not expecting to see the Dutchman's Graveyard so soon. You know, it's one of the later levels, and so I was thinking, you know, THQ Nordic can't just review everything, right? They're going to keep something secret, but as far as I can tell, they basically showcased off almost every level, whether it is through screenshots or through video clips. And so the Dutchman's Graveyard has a bit of a darker, grungier feel to it than I feel like the original did, and it definitely looks darker actually, which I was not expecting, because the whole theme of this game that we've seen so far is increasing the brightness, increasing the contrast. But as you can see from the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard, it actually looks a little bit darker, and I like that they're kind of following like the true idea to each level. You know, Rock Bottom, the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard, Kelp Forest were supposed to be these dark levels, and I like that they didn't try to change that. You know, obviously it looks a little bit brighter just because of the different colors that they use now, but it still maintains that dark feel to it, and I really enjoy that. So I really gotta say, I really like how Purple Amp Studios tried their best to maintain the original feel of the game, and that is just so impressive. At number 8, we got to see a short portion of SpongeBob's Dream, and so we actually did get to see this already through a GIF that was uploaded to the Steam page a few weeks ago. But as you can see here, Sandy is sliding at full speed here, and so like I said, the sliding speed has not been compromised. They were just holding it back, and it looks really great. I love how it goes from blue at the bottom to like this pink red color on the top. The only thing is, it definitely looks like they've not included Texas on the bottom, which is a little bit disappointing, but it might have been a little bit too much to render from what I'm thinking. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but the level still looks great. At number 9, this was a huge bombshell, but we saw all the different bosses, and really? Like, you're really just gonna do that to me right now? Like, it's insane. You can see in the Robot Patrick boss, the talking fish head is there, and it looks basically unchanged from the original game. So I'm glad there was one thing that stayed the same. It was that, because, you know, the talking fish head was perfect. There was no need to change it. Robot Patrick, actually, one thing I noticed with him is that he's a little bit bouncier, which kind of falls in line with how Patrick is overall in this game as well. So I thought that was a nice touch. You can see that his trunks are not that black color anymore, they're more that like green color, which is an interesting change. And man, it looks gorgeous. It looks great, and very menacing. You also get to see Robot Sandy, which I need to see a little bit more of Robot Sandy before I can like really comment on her. You know, there's just something about the design that I don't really love for some reason, but I think if I got to see more of her, then I'll grow to love her a little bit more. One thing that I want to point out with this one is that you can see in the background that they pasted an image of SpongeBob, or more like Buff Bob, if you get what I mean. You know, SpongeBob when he's all buffed up in that really iconic episode, the Krusty Krab games, or wait, no, it's the Fry Cook games. I can't even think right now. And so that's just one example of the many references that they plugged into this game, and wow, I'm like really like shocked. And you also got to see King Jellyfish again. You also got to see the Flying Dutchman, and wow, I love the glowing effects of the Flying Dutchman's breath. It looks so great and just like makes you really feel like that you're being attacked by a ghost. The only thing I will say here is that I think the Flying Dutchman should be slightly transparent, because in the original game you could slightly see through the Flying Dutchman and see some things in the background through his skin. But in this game, it looks like Flying Dutchman is fully opaque, and so you can't see anything through him, and I think they should make him a little bit transparent, just for the sake of being true to the nature of a natural ghost. But that's just my opinion. And then we also got to see Robot Spongebob, and one thing that I've noticed here is that, at least in the community, is a lot of people are a little bit conflicted on his eyes, because obviously his eyes are now like a baby blue color. I think it makes Robot Spongebob look creepier, and I like that actually, because it's the final boss. Robot Spongebob should freak you out, especially if you're a kid. And so I'm glad that they touched up the design a little bit and just made him seem that much more menacing. You also notice that on the platforms, the one that Robot Spongebob is about to attack will have the red color on it now. And so that's just another example of something that the developers implemented to make the game a little bit easier. And so yeah, it's really interesting just kind of noticing all these different changes. At number 10, you all finally get to see Robot Squidward, and I'm so glad I don't have to keep this to myself anymore. Robot Squidward looks absolutely amazing. He looks even more amazing in this footage than I remembered when I was at PAX East, and it looks like, from what I can tell, that Robot Squidward is probably just exclusive to multiplayer mode. Like, there's just no indication that there's going to be an added Robot Squidward boss in the main campaign, although that still remains to be seen, so we'll have to see about that. But yeah, I love the texture on Robot Squidward's skin. He just looks so deadly, and I love that, because you know, Squidward himself can look deadly sometimes, so having a Robot Squidward, it needs to look deadly. At number 11, we got to see Horde mode, and so another secret that I'm so glad you all get to see now. When I saw it for the first time, my jaw dropped. Like, it was absolutely insane. And Horde mode looks really fun. I can't wait to play with you all when the game comes out. I don't know how the online works and such, but I'm hoping that I can play with you all relatively easily, because this looks like a really fun thing to play with friends and such. So yeah, it looks really great. One of the best parts about this trailer is that you get to see all the multiplayer characters that are playable. So as you now know, I was telling the truth. There are multiple playable characters in multiplayer mode. So you have Squidward, who attacks with his clarinet. Then you also have Gary, which I actually didn't even see Gary when I was at PAX East. I did see a 7 character slot, but I could not catch who that character was. And so now I know that it was Gary, and I'm shocked that Gary is playable in this game. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting all these characters to be playable in multiplayer, but I was especially not expecting Gary. And it looks like Gary attacks with a frying pan from what it looks like. I don't know if that's what it actually is. If you all have any ideas as to what he's attacking with, then let me know in the comment section below. You also get to see a little bit of Mr. Krabs and Robot Plankton. So I did not catch that it was Robot Plankton. I assumed it was just Plankton, but nope, it's actually Robot Plankton. But that actually makes more sense in terms of the size comparisons to the other characters, because Plankton is obviously 10,000 times smaller than all the other characters, and so he'd be a little bit awkward to look at in multiplayer mode. Either you would need to give Plankton a robot to attack people in, or you would just make Plankton bigger, which would look weird too. So I think Robot Plankton was the perfect choice for this, and I did not expect that I would get to play Robot Plankton, and so I'm so excited to do that as well. Number 12, the last thing I wanted to mention here is that in one of the clips of Horde mode, we see this pink level in particular, and from what I've read online of what people think this is, I think this is Patrick's dream. You know, you got onions, which is a little bit weird, but I think that pink stuff is meant to be either ice cream or cotton candy. There's a chocolate river flowing, and I think I see textures of maybe waffles or biscuits in the background, and so I think this is Patrick's dream. We'll need to see a little bit more of it before we can confirm that, but yeah, Patrick's dream is also in the game, so that's just another example of cut content. So I have a feeling that they're incorporating most of the cut content through the multiplayer mode, but we'll have to see if there's any single player things as well. But okay, that's pretty much everything for the trailer. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about everything that you saw so far in terms of the trailer. But now let's move on to the screenshots. Oh my gosh, I wonder how long this video is going to end up being, because I'm a little bit scared, to be honest. Well, actually, before we move on to the screenshots, I do have some people I want to credit for bringing this information to me, and also one little new detail that I wanted to put out there. And so, first person I want to credit is TetraXZ for notifying me of the first initial slew of screenshots that we got from True Achievements. So they basically uploaded a few different screenshots along with all the achievements of the game, and all these achievements have a screenshot associated with them too. So that's how we got a screenshot of almost every single level in this game, because True Achievements just went and did that. So thank you, Tetra, for that. And then credit to B-Doc Brian for teaching me how to extract the screenshots from True Achievements, because I was seeing like some people extracting them, and I was like, how are y'all doing this? All I can see is that little square on the website, but B-Doc Brian told me how to actually get them out, and so that's what I did, and now I'm gonna showcase all of them for you all in this video. So thank you so much, Brian, for that. And then credit to Dan and Emerson for notifying me of the trailer, because Microsoft put up a page for Rehydrated a few hours after we saw the True Achievements one that had some more screenshots along with the trailer of the game. This trailer would eventually get uploaded by THQ Nordic on their YouTube page, but just thank you to you two for notifying me of that in the beginning. And then last but not least, definitely not least, credit to John, who just now notified me that if you pre-ordered this game on Steam, you can get a download of the soundtrack. And apparently the soundtrack is remastered, and so it's gonna be a little bit higher quality compared to original games. So thank you so much, John, for notifying me this, because I think this would have just like fell under our noses for a lot longer if you didn't notify me of it. But okay, now that I've done all of my credits and such, let's go ahead and dive into every screenshot. So let's start off with the big boy over here, which is Robot Squidward. And so you can see here we got a really clear shot of Robot Squidward here. We also got Spongebob and Patrick, the characters that were chosen for this Horde mode session specifically. I'm not really sure what this location is. It looks like a sewage. Like I can see some of those like green like platforming boxes in the background, so that's pretty interesting. They're probably there for platforming and maneuvering around the stage in the later on in the Horde mode level. But yeah, does anyone have any idea as to what this location is? Like, is it a reference to something from the show? Is it not? Let me know in the comment section below. It just looks like a basic sewage system to me. Maybe it's under the Krusty Krab. Maybe that's what this is referring to. But yeah, Robot Squidward looks just like I remembered him. He has a bit of a bluer color to him than I remembered though. And when I saw him at PAX East, he was very, very dark. But in this one, he has a bit of a bluer color, which I actually like better. You know, it makes him seem more Squidward-like, I guess. And you also see that he's got like the red glowing eyes and mouth, just as I remembered. And man, he looks menacing. I'm so excited to play this. I'm really looking forward to it. At number 2, we got another Robot Squidward screenshot, and this is something that I did not get to see at PAX East, which was the beach level. And so, from what I can gather, it actually looks like Robot Squidward is a part of all the Horde mode levels, but it takes place in different locations. And so I'm guessing that this is how Robot Squidward is ultimately getting incorporated into this game. I really don't think Robot Squidward is going to be a boss in the main campaign, but I could be wrong. Maybe that's just a secret that they don't want to let out yet. But from what it looks like so far, it looks like Robot Squidward is going to be a mostly multiplayer thing, which I'm okay with because he's in the game. Like, that's crazy. 2 years ago, I would have never thought that this game would have existed, first of all, let alone like seeing Robot Squidward come to life. Like, that is insane. And yeah, you also get to see some of the Tartar Sauce robots here, and yep, they look great. We already seen them before in the previous footage, and so let's go ahead and move on. Number 3, this is probably one of my favorite shots I've seen so far, but it's SpongeBob's dream, and specifically Squidward's dream. And so, wow, take a look at this. Like, this is gorgeous. I've actually seen some people say that they don't like how this game looks, and I'm like, how can you look at this screenshot and tell me this looks bad? Like, this looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks like an episode of Modern SpongeBob. Like, that's how it looks like. And wow, it's just amazing. And I'm sure tons of people have already pointed this out, but you also get to see handsome Squidward as a portrait in the background, which is a really cool example of them utilizing new references and plugging them into this game. So that's really awesome. You also see like Squidward over there, and he's blowing into the clarinet, and his cheeks are puffed up actually. And I don't think that's something that was in the original game. I think in the original game it was just Squidward's face, and so that's a really cool little touch that they made. I also love how the sky goes from red to blue just like in Sandy's dream, so it helps to tie all the levels together. And just wow, this looks absolutely amazing. Like I can't stop looking at this. Like I don't want to move on. At number 4, we got a screenshot of the Goo Lagoon Pier, and so lots to break down with this one. First of all, Goo Lagoon is another one of my favorite levels that I've seen so far. Like, it just looks absolutely incredible. You see Patrick here with that really awesome facial expression. You also get to see Mr. Krabs though, and yep, Mr. Krabs looks just as I remembered him when I was at PAX East and I saw him in motion. He's got a really big booty, just so you know, so be prepared for that. But yeah, Goo Lagoon looks really gorgeous. I love all the different colors. I love the wood. I just love everything about this. It looks really, really great. At number 5, we also got another screenshot of Goo Lagoon, and this is the part where Patrick is like trying to get a sock, because this is a location where you have to like try to destroy the Duplicatotron that's like kind of out in the distance with the watermelon. And so, throw fruit, not watermelon, throw fruit. And so it looks great. Looks like they changed the color of the ground from like a white color to like a light blue color, which I have no issues with. And just, this is kind of weird because it looks just like Bikini Bottom, but obviously like remade. So it's like, it feels familiar, but it doesn't at the same time. It's this weird like conundrum that I can't seem to put together in my head. Number 6, this is probably one of my favorite screenshots I've seen so far, but this is a screenshot of the Goo Lagoon caves, and probably my favorite thing about this screenshot is the added grass textures on the islands. I think that's such a great touch. It makes this cave seem more like a tropical resort now, which I really, really dig. You can see in the background that there's that robot that makes the thunderclouds there with the umbrella, and so I think this is the first time y'all got to see like a close up of that robot, and yeah, it just looks great. And here's another thing that I'm sure lots of people have already pointed out, where you can see SpongeGar on the right over there. That is another reference that they made to newer SpongeBob episodes and memes. You gotta love Purple Lamp Studios. Like, they're really going all out to make sure that this is a game that appeals to all SpongeBob fans. I cannot wait to see what other secrets they've hidden in this game. At number 7, we got to see downtown Bikini Bottom, and this shot is just gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous. You can see the steering wheel on the top over there. It looks just like it did in Bikini Bottom. Sandy looks absolutely great, and the buildings have great textures to them. I don't know what to say. I just like completely bewildered and shocked by everything that we've seen. But downtown Bikini Bottom has this really great urban feel to it that the original game had as well, and they've done a great job maintaining it, but it looks modern at the same time. You know, it's amazing. At number 8, so now we're going to screenshots that I got from True Achievements specifically, and these are screenshots that are tied to specific achievements within the Xbox One version of the game. And so this is probably going to be the same case for the PS4 version. Not sure the Nintendo Switch will try to incorporate them anyway, we'll have to see about that. But this first one is of SpongeBob's Pineapple, and so this achievement is called Time for Tutorial, and it just says to collect everything in SpongeBob's house. And so this looks very similar to the title screen when I first saw it at PAX East, and it looks more like a concept art than anything, so it doesn't really look like an in-game screenshot, but it doesn't look that far off from the actual in-game hub world. And so yeah, I'm just loving the art here. At number 9, so here's 3 screenshots over here, and these are specifically of achievement of defeating robots as Sandy, Patrick, and SpongeBob. And so you could do Squirrel Smasher, which is defeating 100 robots as Sandy, Star Smasher, defeating 100 as Patrick, and Sponge Smasher, defeating 100 as SpongeBob. And so one thing I love about this game is that these broken robot pieces that you see throughout all the levels was a really nice touch. When I first saw it on Jellyfish Fields, I thought, oh, that's a really cool thing. We kind of saw some of that in the original game, but they definitely expanded upon that in this game as well, and so that's really, really cool. At number 10, it's an achievement called Life's as Extreme as You Want to Make It, and it basically is just to clear all the ski slopes in Sand Mountain. I'm so excited. Sand Mountain is probably my favorite level in Bikini Bottom, so I'm really excited to see how it looks, and sadly enough, it's actually one of the only levels that we don't get a clear shot of yet from everything that we've seen so far, but we can get to see Sandy on her snowboard over here and some mountains in the background, and so it's a bit of a tease of what's to come. You know, it's not like an actual screenshot from what it looks like. Maybe it is, and the game just looks that good, but it doesn't. I don't think it's an actual screenshot. It looks more like concept art to me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Sand Mountain looks like, and I can't wait to slide down all those slopes again when the game comes out. Number 11 is an achievement named Surfs Up, and it's basically to finish the main missions of Goo Lagoon. And so as you can see here, we got a snapshot of the sand castle, and it looks a little bit more like circular, I guess, more rounded compared to the original game. I think the original game was a little bit more pointed, and I don't see the sock here, you know, because there's a sock on top of the one on the right, and so I'm thinking that this is just like a concept art too, because you don't see the tikis either or any robots. However though, it does look gorgeous, and like I said before, Goo Lagoon looks absolutely breathtaking from all the shots I've seen of it so far. At number 12, we've got Uptown and Downtown, which basically says to complete Mrs. Puff mission in downtown Bikini Bottom. And so we get to see our first look at Mrs. Puff over here. And Mrs. Puff looks a little bit strange, I'm not gonna lie. Mrs. Puff has always looked strange, but this Mrs. Puff looks almost like a solid, like, kitchen utensil, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, she doesn't seem like she's bubbly like she was in the original game. She looks more like a really smooth shaped half octagon. I don't know. I can't speak right now, but I'll have to see Mrs. Puff a little bit more in action before I can comment for sure. However, I will say that the boat in the background is a really nice touch. I really like that. And so I'm hoping we get to see more little touches like that to the original game to kind of like help to tell the story a little bit more of this game. At number 13, we saw an achievement called Hit Rock Bottom, and it basically just says to finish the main missions of Rock Bottom. Rock Bottom, what I love about what they did with this level is that they didn't do anything to try to decrease the darkness of the level. They kept the darkness intact. They just tried to brighten it up in areas where it would make sense, like the doors and windows of that building, for instance, and also with the tikis. But they still want to keep that dark aesthetic with Rock Bottom, and I'm really glad they did that, because that's something I was a little bit concerned about when I saw some screenshots of Jellyfish Fields, is that, well, they're making Jellyfish Fields so bright and colorful. Are they going to do that for all the levels? I mean, I don't mind a little bit of it for Rock Bottom, but I was also hoping that they would keep the dark feel to it, which it looks like they successfully have. So huge shout out to the team for doing that. Number 14, we got to see a shot of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and this achievement is Keep It Rolling, which is to complete the rolling ball puzzle in the Mermalair. And so I love them for making this an achievement, because when I did that in the original game, hell yeah, it was an achievement. I slaved over that level for hours trying to beat that stupid puzzle, and now I finally got to the point where I can do it after 1 or 2 tries, because, you know, I kept practicing at it and I got better at it. And so I really do appreciate them making that an achievement, because that truly is an achievement. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy look really cool here. I especially like how Mermaid Man looks, actually. I don't know, there's just something about them. It looks like they've been ripped directly from the show and just put as 3D models. And the Mermalair also looks a lot brighter compared to original. As you can see, the floor textures are a bit of a baby blue instead of the dark blue that they were in the original game. And it just looks like it's come alive. And it's amazing. Number 15, we got a shot of Kelp Forest, and this achievement is Kelp Forest of Fear, and its description is find all the lost campers in Kelp Forest. So this was a level I was extremely interested in seeing, because it was actually one of the only levels within the original game that I really wanted them to shake up in terms of the design of it. And from what it looks like here, it looks like the colors are a little bit more varied in this one. It still keeps that dark feel to it, but as you can see, for example, instead of like having it all be grass, there's sand texture where Mrs. Puff is standing. And so I think things like that will help to make the level kind of contrast a little bit better and make it easier to see things. And I think all the tikis, from what I saw in like other screenshots, are a little bit brighter too, so that'll help with the lighting. But yeah, the Kelp Forest looks absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to see it in motion. Number 16, we got a snapshot of the Flying Dutchman ship, and so this achievement is basically is named Ship Shape, and it's basically to reclaim the Flying Dutchman ship in the Flying Dutchman's graveyard. I already talked a little bit how the Flying Dutchman's graveyard looked earlier in the video, but yeah, this just echoes what I said before, is that they kept that dark aesthetic to it, but obviously brightened it up wherever they could. I love the green moon in the background especially. I don't know if that was something that was in the original game. It might have been, I might just not remember, but yeah, this looks great. Number 17, this snapshot may not look that significant, but its title is Sleepy Time and its description is to find all golden spatulas in SpongeBob's dream level. And I wanted to point this out because you can see a bit of a glimpse of what SpongeBob's dream looks like in the background. So you see that like consistent pink to blue color scheme that they got going for some of the screenshots. You also see the Krusty Krab somewhat in the background along with that slide that leads to Sandy's dream. And so you can't really see too much. You can see that there's clouds still with Krabby Patties on them, and I don't think that was a thing in the original game. So there were floating Krabby Patties, but they weren't on clouds, and so that's really interesting. I think they did a lot to the backdrop actually, because now that I think about it, the backdrop of SpongeBob's dream was a lot different from this one. It had more of a patterned look to it, and so I don't know, it's interesting. I am liking the change. Number 18, this is a big one. This achievement is called Robot Encyclopedia, and you want to destroy at least one type of every robot in the game while playing the campaign, and bosses don't count. So holy crap, like look at all this. You see basically every single robot here, and so we've obviously seen some of the robots that we've already been exposed to, but we also see a bunch of new ones I've never seen. Like I don't think I've seen the cowboy one before. I'm sorry, I don't remember the specific name for that one. Like I think I've seen like a brief shot of all these robots besides that one up to this point. And the cowboy one, I love it. It's got like that cape on him that I think really fits well, and all these robots just look like they have so much more personality to them, and oh, that's so exciting. Like this looks absolutely gorgeous, and all in front of like the downtown Bikini Bottom aesthetic. I think that was the perfect place to use for these robots. And I don't know, let me know what your favorite robot is in the comment section below. And oh, I just noticed there's also the jellyfish there, so they even include a jellyfish. So I guess the jellyfish count as like a robot too in this sense. Number 19 is called Shrimp Catcher, and it's basically to defeat Prawn in the Marble Lair. So this is our first look at Prawn because he was not apparent in the trailer. And so Prawn is a really interesting character because he's one of the only original characters in this game that's never appeared in the show before. And so Prawn looks exactly like he did in the original game, and he's got like that blue background behind him. I don't really have no complaints here. Prawn looks just as menacing as he did in the original game. I kind of wish that we got to see a little bit more Prawn after this game actually. So I don't know, maybe some more DLC content focused on Prawn specifically. I think that'd be really cool. Number 20, it's called Shanghai, and it's basically to defeat the Flying Dutchman. And so you see the Flying Dutchman here, and I'm just gonna briefly mention again how he's not transparent at all. He's completely opaque, and I really do think they should make the Flying Dutchman a little bit transparent because that's true to his nature in the original game, but maybe for some reason it just fit better with this color scheme. I'm not sure, but I would have been really interested in seeing how he looked with a little bit of a transparent effect to him. Number 21, oh, this is huge. This achievement is called The Small Does Not Rule, and it's basically to defeat Roboplankton and neutralize SpongeBob SquarePants' brain. And so you get to see both Robot Plankton and the Robot SpongeBob here, and I love what they did to Robot Plankton. Robot Plankton looks perfect. He basically looks exactly the way that I envisioned he would have looked like in this remake, and man, I can't wait to play it in his horde mode actually. That was such a cool addition. I was not expecting that. I already commented a little bit on Robot SpongeBob. I think he looks just as menacing here, and man, Robot SpongeBob just looks great here as well. I cannot wait. I was really excited to see Robot SpongeBob, and they did not disappoint. Number 22, this achievement is called Are You Ready Now? And it's basically to talk to Squidward 10 times as SpongeBob, and that's such a funny achievement to put in there, and it's very true to the nature of the actual game. As you can see, handsome Squidward is there as well, like, and he stands out like a sore thumb, you know, having him be so much brighter than all the other pictures. And man, Squidward just looks awesome here, and I've already said everything I needed to say about this game already. Like, it just looks amazing, and all these screenshots are just proving to me that Purple Lamp Studios knows what they're doing. Like, they know what they're doing, and this game is gonna shock everyone when it comes out. It's gonna be a really fun game to play. Number 23 is called Sweet Victory. It's basically to defeat Robo Sandy and the Poseidon. Oh, Sweet Victory! That's such a cool reference that they made. But as you can see, we see a little bit more Robot Sandy over here, and I can see now that one change that they made is to Robot Sandy's arms, because they're now not completely white, but they're also got like those black like extension technology to the arms as well. So that kind of helps explain why Robot Sandy is able to like extend her arms so widely as she does in the actual boss. And so Robot Sandy looks fine to me, honestly. I think I need to see Robot Sandy a little bit more in action before I can have a solid opinion on her, but I'm digging her look so far. I don't love it, but I'm liking it. Number 24, we got to see Robot Patrick, and so this achievement is called Toxic Terror, and it's basically to defeat Robo Patrick in the industrial park. And so Robo Patrick also has that same thing of his arms that Robot Sandy has, and he looks pretty pathetic in this one actually. And so there's not too much I can comment on here that I didn't already say in the beginning of the video. Like I said, his shorts are green now, which actually matches Patrick's shorts in a way, so maybe that's why they went with that. But yeah, Robot Patrick is looking pretty good. I think I still prefer how Robot Patrick looks in the original, but I mean, there's obviously going to be some things I prefer in the original, like that was just reality. And this number 25 is SpongeBob versus SpongeBob. So it's defeat SpongeBob Squarepants in the Chum Bucket Lab. And so you can see a much clearer, like more neutral idle animation of Robot SpongeBob here. I love his creepy smile. It's absolutely great. I'm trying to see if I can see anything else in the background, and I can't really say I do. I guess the green like sewer pipes in the background is a little bit new. I don't think that was a thing in the original game. I can't see the Duplicatotron. It's pretty well hidden in the background, so maybe they did that on purpose just to give it a more of that creepy feel to it. And so number 26 is a bunch of these screenshots are either shots that you've already seen or like are collecting spatulas or socks, for example. And so I'll kind of just like quickly go through the screenshots here. We got a couple more screenshots of Jellyfish Fields. The King Jellyfish one looks absolutely gorgeous. I love it so much. And then you also got a shot of Squidward, and we've seen this shot so much at this point, so there's really not much else to comment on. A few of the other achievements are called Spatula Seekers, which is where you collect a certain amount of golden spatulas, and also Sock Getter, Concert, or Oprah. And so that's also about collecting all the socks. And we got confirmation about how many socks and spatulas in this game. There are 100 total golden spatulas and 80 total socks. So it does not look like there's going to be any extra spatulas or socks. And I wanted to point that out because I know that was a question that I got when I asked for people to put questions in about the interview. And so it doesn't look like there's going to be any extra spatulas or socks, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's no bonus levels. We'll just have to wait and see if there's going to be any bonus content in the main campaign. And number 27, so these last few screenshots are from the Microsoft site, so they added a few more screenshots above what True Achievements have released, and this one is a picture of the character select screen for Horde mode. And so, like I said, there are at least 6 playable characters when I reported it back in PAX East. But now the 7th character has been revealed. It is Gary, and yet I knew there was a 7th slot. I just could not make out who it was. I wasn't standing close enough to the TV screen, sadly, but now it's all confirmed. And one thing I want to note is that I love these renders in the character select screen. I hope they get released, and so I can use them in my thumbnails and such. And so whenever the game comes out, if anyone wants to like send me those renders, that would be very well appreciated. And number 28, here is a screenshot of SpongeBob and Goo Lagoon. You can see Larry in the background over there looking all buff and strong. He's in the shade and such. And so, man, I gotta say, like I said before, Goo Lagoon has such beautiful lighting to it. It's making it one of my favorite levels so far in terms of how they've been remade. Like, the lighting just adds so much to it. In the original game, I actually didn't really find Goo Lagoon to be that significantly like awesome in terms of its design, but the remake has definitely heightened Goo Lagoon for me. I'm so excited to play through it now. Like, it looks so much better than it did in the original game. And number 29, and I think this is the final bullet point and a really good way to close everything off. We got a screenshot of SpongeBob in the hub world. And so take a look at this and just kind of like marvel in the beauty of this game. And one of my favorite things about this game that Purple Lamp Studios has done is making this world seem so interconnected, because you can see in the background Goo Lagoon and downtown Bikini Bottom. Like, this feels like one world, and that's something that the original game did a really good job at. But now Rehydrated is doing an even better job at it because of the advanced technology. Now, there was one thing I talked about in my PAX East video, that there was like a lifeguard stand like right beside SpongeBob's house. It doesn't look like it's right there anymore. It looks like it's a little bit more towards the back, which makes much more sense to me. But still, it is pretty close. But I actually kind of like it now because it makes the world seem really interconnected, and that's just one of the charms of this game, is that you're playing through SpongeBob's world and everything belongs in SpongeBob's world. And so yeah, it's just amazing. Hey friends, it's RidersDX from the near future, and I hate to interrupt my former self, but we just got like a new gameplay footage uploaded by THQ Nordic on their Twitter and a YouTube channel. And I'm like, oh great, I need to make another edit to this video because I really don't think I'm gonna make a separate video just for that one little clip. So here we go. Let me just first off play the clip for you all in case you all haven't seen it yet.
Can't take it!
Okay, so I know we've all seen Jellyfish Fields to death, but we actually did get to see some new things over here, and so I'm just going to point out some of the things that I noticed and my opinions on them. So one of the first things I noticed is that when you wall jump with SpongeBob in that section, instead of like that SpongeBob cartoony sign that's on like the walls, now you have like an up arrow. And I think this is a really great idea actually, because I've actually seen a YouTuber that was playing this game for the very first time and he was streaming it live and he couldn't figure out that he was supposed to wall jump. And so I think that this will definitely help like new players, because I don't think in the original game it was that obvious that SpongeBob was supposed to wall jump. Maybe there was like some kind of text message on the bottom that popped up, I think, but I don't know. Even that's not enough for some people apparently, so I think it's a good idea. Second thing is when you see Patrick being terrified by the tartar sauce robot, and Patrick just looks so precious here. I love it so much. I can't wait to see the game and get to see everyone's facial expressions and all the different cutscenes. I really want them to go all out animation style. So another thing that I noticed is that when Patrick is platforming throughout the jellyfish caves, he jumps on these platforms that have like this brownish color to them, and I think it's an interesting texture to say the least. I don't remember what they look like in the original game now that I think about it, but I don't think they look like that, and they seem a little bit out of place to me. I don't know. If anyone can kind of explain like what that's supposed to be, and that would be great. Maybe it's just like a stupid rock and I'm making too much out of like a simple rock, but I don't know. The texture choice is a little bit interesting. And then another thing that was like definitely in my face was the texture of the slide. So the slide is now completely sand, and I don't know how I feel about that either. I kind of miss being able to slide on like the rock texture in the original game, but I think it's something I can get used to. I think it also just has to do with like the change in the aesthetic of Jellyfish Fields, since that's become much more prevalent now compared to the original level. So it might have not looked as good in this new style if that sliding texture was completely rock, but still I am gonna miss that, but I am open to the change. And one last thing I want to mention is like, since they just did this video for Jellyfish Fields, it makes you wonder if they're gonna do this for other levels as well. If they want to do that like every couple weeks or so up to the game's release, I think that's an amazing idea, and it's gonna be great promo for the game, and it's basically what I've been asking for them to do this whole time. And so I'm really excited for the future. I really do hope that they keep up the promotional campaign that they've been initiating right now, because this is great. We need more stuff like this because the game is really close to being released now. Now's the time to go all out in promotion, especially because with the quarantine, you have limited options in terms of how you can promote the game, so you better go all out all you can virtually. But let me go ahead and turn the table back to my former self. Yeah. And well, my friends, that's it. That's everything that I've seen so far, and I am completely exhausted. There's just too much to digest. I cannot believe that THQ just decided to completely blow everyone away with releasing everything at the same time. Like, who told them that this was a good marketing strategy? But you know what? I actually think it was good thinking about it, because now when the game comes out, people are going to be extremely excited because the hype levels are through the roof. They've probably gotten like quite a few pre-orders at this point, and it's very close to the actual release date of the game. And so I'm glad that they took their time to work on the game and just kind of showcase everything when they wanted to. And oh wow, my head hurts, my mouth is sore. There's just thank you to everyone that's touched this game with their bare hands, because this is something I never thought I was ever gonna see in my lifetime. So I'm gonna let myself become sappy for another video, because I cannot let myself do that on the microphone right now. But just, I hope you all enjoyed all this analysis. You know, I'm sorry it was a little bit sloppy in some points. There's just way too much to cover, and I didn't want to spend eternity talking about every single thing that I could think of. I hope you all learned something new from this video, or something that you might have missed out on with all the craziness that just happened. But just, yeah, thank you so much for your constant support, and I can't wait to play this game at the same time as you all do. Like, it's gonna be insane. But okay, let me know in the comment section below what your favorite detail was that I mentioned in this video. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. And also, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these and you want to see more in the future. Follow me on Twitter or Twitch, and join my Discord server, the Spongy Garden. Special shout out to Reese Gaming, Team Route Sonic Gamer, Andrew Coughlin, Glitch Dolphin, New Gamer Hub, Desiree Webb, Abraham Muner, and Maz Muner. These are my patrons / YouTube members. If you'd like to become a patron or YouTube member, get access to a whole bunch of different perks, then please check out the links in the description box below. But alright, this is Riders, riding out.